I've got a meeting with a consultant on my birthday, Thursday.
Very
So
nice.
I'm looking forward to it. Perhaps he'll give me a birthday present of, hey, you're 20 years younger than I thought you were, mate.
Yeah, the joys, but how good would that be?
Well, yeah, I assume as much, but it might actually say now you want to go back to your life 20 years ago, and I don't know. I don't know whether I'll do it or not.
Yeah, it's I think you get to a certain stage. I think it's about adapting and it's about keep moving forward,
Yeah,
in the
it's
best
it's
way
true. You,
possible.
I have this counselling once a week, as I said before, and it's really interesting that every Wednesday I have this counselling line, and it's really good online. And it's a charitable thing through the cardiac
Oh,
recovery team. And so he said to me, he said, said you hark back a lot, or no, he actually asked me a question. He said, do you think you hark back to the old days a lot? I
right.
said, yeah, all the bloody time. He said, well, you can't live in those times again. They're gone.
Yeah.
He said, and the reason those times, and the reason you're different now is the fact that those times have gone. You've gone through it. You've moved forward.
Mm.
He said, and it doesn't matter how much you want to rediscover that life. He said, it's impossible. He said, because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And look, when he said that to me last week, I thought about it for a while, and then I'm trying to sort out my office here now.
Mm.
I've blurred out the background because it's just like it looks like step to a son have been in here. To be quite honest with you right now, I'm trying to sort it out because I want to make it like a studio now.
Right.
Because I want to do I'll go on the lines I said before. I'm going to do something with my photography, my poetry, and all sorts of stuff. But also, I want to start doing some like a YouTube channel or two. Just get this shit out of me, just
Mm-hmm.
pour it out. And it doesn't matter if nobody watches or listens to it. It's out there.
Yeah.
I've got it done. I'm not talking people's ears off with it anymore. Uh, and seeing them glaze over because they got no point of reference. You said, "Oh, there was this time in Tehran," and they go,
Mm.
and they don't know what Tehran's like. They just think
No.
back to the news, but they think, "Oh, it's all rockets overhead and people being beheaded in the streets, isn't it?" No, it's fucking not. But they
Mm.
don't know. So anyway, so all of this stuff. So I've sorted this office out, and I that really made me think when he said that. It really made me think. I found that in sorting this office out, I came out with this, literally found a carrier bag in one of the drawers here. Well, there's plenty of drawers. I found a carrier bag in one of the drawers, and it's full of old photographs
Mm.
and a little SD card, or a big SD card, the original,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
old tops. And I thought, oh, what's that? And I plugged it into the side of my laptop here, and I found photographs I'd forgotten. I take it literally all the, if you like, sort of the B-roll stuff, not the
Mm.
stuff that I thought, oh, that'd be good, that'd make a good print, or that's a nice photograph. It's just like sort of events. As I was going along, hundreds of photographs on there. And so I found some old stuff there, and I thought it just made me think, yeah, he's right. Because I had a photograph of me, my wife Sharon, and our son Josh. Okay,
Mm.
all standing together. Our first week in Dubai. Okay, and 1994. Okay, my son's 5 years old. No, 4 years old. Sorry, and so we're standing there, and we're in front of what I now know. People now know as, oh, that was the old airport, wasn't it? Uh, and there's not there's another photograph on a place called Sheikh Zayed Road, which is like the main sort of drag through Dubai over to Abu Dhabi. And it had the World Trade Center on one end, and then five-story buildings and two 20-story tower blocks. That's it.
Yeah.
When you see photographs now, it's like it's like uh, I forget what it's the Burge, the
Yeah.
Burge or whatever they call it. And it's just like sort of tower block after tower block after tower block, 8-lane highways and stuff like that. And I just thought, I wouldn't want to go back to that plastic environment. I wouldn't want to
Mm.
go to the glass and concrete of today. I loved it then because if
Yeah.
we were going, we used to go to this little old hotel, the Hyatt Galleria Hotel, and they had a revolving restaurant on the top of this, and an ice skating rink there. Okay, we used to go there, and it was just like wow, right by the sea, and the revolving restaurant. You go around, and you just see out into the desert one way, and you see
Mm.
out to the Gulf, the Arabian Gulf the other way. But now the place still exists, but the revolving restaurant doesn't revolve anymore. It's not even a restaurant, I don't think. Uh, but it's just, it's just concrete and stuff.
Mm.
And that's my memories. I'm harking back to those days, like the days in Tehran. That was, crikey, how long ago was that now? That's 22 years ago.
Yeah. That world doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. And
Mm.
also, I was going on about, we had this wonderful time, my first time in Tehran, and we were at an exhibition. I was there for bloody 2, 3 weeks. I was at this exhibition, and we had a driver. He said, "Don't be driving." The boss said, "Don't be driving around Tehran." He said, it's bumper cars on acid, literally.
Mm.
He said it's just mental. If there's 4 lanes on the road, there's 10 lanes of traffic, and nobody obeys any of the rules of the
Yeah.
road, and they miss you by nanometers. And so anyway, so I had this driver, Reza, and this driver, Reza, goes, "What do you want to do tonight, sir?" I said, "Oh, it's the weekend." I said, "Well, mind going out for a nice meal, somewhere typically Iranian."
Mm.
I said, "So not the city side, on the edge of the city. I'll take you to the boardwalk." So it took me up. There's basically, you possibly park this car at the bottom of the boardwalk. Then it's literally a boarded walk up the mountain. And then as you go up there, there's just like sort of terraces spaced around. Anyway, long story short, had a lovely meal up there for about $1.50, US$1.50. Okay, 3-course meal and all the rest of it. Iranian people round us, and
Mm.
this driver Reza was with me. I said, "Come and eat with me." He goes, "Oh no, I can't eat with you." I said, "Come and bloody eat with me, mate. I'm not eating alone. That's just sad. Come here
Mm.
and eat. And by the way, order food for your family as well." Okay, because you're taking it away. You're out for the evening, and you've got a wife and 2 children at home. Okay, and you should at least take them back some food. Okay, so anyway, and he was introduced me to all the locals there, to families of locals and stuff like that. And it's that I'm sure that doesn't exist anymore. Roadside
Yeah.
roadside welders putting together 1960s jeeps with larder engines because they haven't. The only thing they could lay their hands on was like sort of Eastern Bloc or Russian engines and stuff. But that doesn't exist anymore. I'm positive of it.
Mm.
So I can't get it back.
No, and that's what's nice when you see Michael Palin that travels around and goes right into things. He did something on Iran and Iraq there
Yeah,
recently,
yeah, because
and
he was in Isfahan, one of the places that
mm.
I went to. We had a base in well, about 5 bases across Iran, but in Isfahan, and traditionally Isfahan was the place of pottery and tiles. Like all the beautiful hand
Yeah.
painted mosque tiles and stuff,
Mm.
the blue painted mosque tiles, and it's a beautiful place. And I saw it. He was there at Isfahan. He went all over the place, all went over the place, and it is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful place. My memory of it, my
Mm.
experience of it was a wonderful place, and good people as well. And but I can't get that back. If I go there again now, it's like childhood memories. You want to go
Yeah.
back to the place you were born and and all the rest of it, and you never get it back. You're just
No.
ultimately disappointed with how it's developed, and all the people around you just go, "What are you talking about? It's always been like this, hasn't it?"
Yeah. 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 I think like with that in mind too, like if we can approach every day with wonder or with what's that word? Thinking, oh, what's going to happen today?
Yeah, it's like
With
childhood
anticipation.
awe, isn't it? It's just that
Mm,
naive awe of oh wow, something new. Oh, that was good.
yeah,
What's happening now? It is that sense of awe and just open-mindedness.
yeah,
What
yeah,
happens, happens, and it's going to be
yeah,
good.
yeah. Well, definitely when you approach it like that, I think it's gonna be good. When we can have anticipation about something that's nice and see what changes because everything is changing all of the time,
Yeah,
and some places quicker than others.
after we finish today, I'll send you something that I just found, and it was basically it's just somewhere stupid like YouTube. I think it was. It might have even been Facebook or something like that. But it was basically the Lord's Prayer directly translated from the original Aramaic
Yeah,
to British English.
completely different.
And it's complete. There's nothing about thou shalt not. It's
Yeah,
it's like sort of may your thoughts be good, and
yeah,
you shall accomplish them, and stuff like
yeah.
that. And it was quite amazing for me because I suddenly realised that it's been through all these things, even memories have
Mm,
been through filters. But
yeah,
I'm remembering all these places through the filter of time.
yeah.
Okay. I understand about it now what I didn't understand about it then,
Mm,
which is like, if you like, a privileged position, which I've got no right to overlay on it, really. And I find myself doing it with my son. We had this, I was down with my son and his wife and kids. I get on great with the grandkids. They do keep you young, really bloody do. And we're talking away, and I showed him an old photograph of they used to have the Great British Fun Day in Dubai,
mm,
and the first one ever was actually at a Scottish pub in uh, in the centre of Dubai, which now is just gone. It's just like 8 million tower blocks over it. But it was one of Her Majesty's vessels was in, one of the naval vessels was in, and all of the ratings and the officers
right.
volunteered free of charge to do all the like games and stuff like that. It was like a big sort of summer fete type thing,
Mm,
and I had pictures of that. And Josh at the time, my boy at the time, was 5 years old, 5.5 maybe, and his memory of it was so pure
mm,
that I realized that my memory of it was just like through my filter as a father and my filter of as a as a newbie there, because we
mm.
hadn't been there long. We've been there, I think we've been there about sort of less than a year. And so it's just those filters that we apply. And so I think that's a lot to do with the fact that we can't go on it again. We can't get back to that lifestyle again because we were never there in the first place. We were in a different place to our memory, if you see
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
It's the old state, it's the old phrase that looking at it through rose tinted glasses.
Well, this is it. And like you said, I mean, looking at through filters, is how we do view everything through our filters, through our how we've been programmed to look at things or to think about things. And
Yeah.
it's only like from a different perspective looking back, and it's like, wow, did I really think like that, or did I really, view things that way?
The interesting thing is as well is that those memories, if you like, or those issues or happenings in the
Mm,
past, they actually are the way we make our decisions now.
yeah,
So if we actually attained it again, we couldn't attain it again because we look at it through a completely different set of
exactly.
circumstances and
Yeah, yeah.
knowledges. I can remember I thought I was bulletproof. When I was a lad, I was doing my engineering apprenticeship in the 70s. And thought I was bulletproof. I'd gone through school thinking I was stupid and being told I was stupid.
Mm,
And basically I was heavily, what I now know I think is probably massive dyslexia.
mm,
I could hardly, write until I was 11, secondary school. And but anyway, they told me I was stupid, but I thought I was bulletproof. So I went into this. I'd always taken tests at school because I confounded them. They didn't know what to make of me because they said I was stupid, so I never did anything. But then when it came to tests, I'd sit the test and I hadn't done any studying for it at all. And I was coming through with like top marks.
mhm.
And so when I'm in my engineering apprenticeship, uh, I didn't know how to be an engineer. I didn't learn how to be an engineer, but I found that I was just like soaking it up.
Mm.
So I thought I was bulletproof. I thought, life would be really easy. And while I was thinking like that, lo and behold, life was fucking, oh, excuse me, please. I'll stop swearing. I've
Well,
got to stop swearing. But excuse my French.
yeah, yeah.
But I thought life was really, really simple and easy and it would go
Mm,
great. And lo and behold, it did.
mm.
While I was thinking like that, I was obviously creating the circumstances
Yeah,
and also the filters that made it like that.
yeah, yeah.
So I was actually, I know now, I didn't know then, but I know now that I was creating my future. When I was unemployed, when we went overseas, I was unemployed for about 8 months. And it was during the early 90s, we had a massive, massive property crash in the late 80s through the early 90s. And basically what that meant, I was doing project sales for like engineering items. And all the projects were called off. So I lost my job. We were all got made redundant, company closed down, and I was out of work for 8 months. I was either over qualified or under experienced plumber.
Mm,
And out of the blue came one of my old agents from that very company that had made me redundant and closed down. They over in Dubai said, "Oh, come out and have a look. We might have something for you." So, so long story short, I went, "Okay, yeah." And I was down in the dumps, man. We were losing the house, and Josh was a little, like I say, he was about 3 years old. It was just things were going mental. And my wife was just, she was like serious strength. She really was. She was the only way I could put up with life at that point was her with her fighting off all the bloody demons, if you see what I mean.
mm,
And so I went out there and I realized now I went out there and I saw it. It was just sand and the odd building here and there and a small airport. And this company was a projects company, and they just built the Jebel Ali, which is like big free port now. But at the time, they were just building a port and an oil fields base. And so I looked at that and I thought, oh, this could be fantastic. This is like slipping back into, if you like, the 1930s of England,
yeah, yeah.
where life was quiet and didn't have the stresses that I'd been undergoing the last 8, 9 months. Those stresses were massive, but I was creating them myself because I wasn't thinking properly.
Mm,
And so at this point, I went, what could be? And I went home after that. They paid for the trip and everything because I didn't have a pot to piss in, mate. I was skint. I could hardly feed the bloody kid. And so I went back, and my wife just said to me, Sharon, she said to me, she goes, "What do you think?" I said, "Oh, it's got, it's unbelievable, to be quite honest with you. It's just opportunities all the place." She goes, "When we going?" I went,
there you go.
"Well, they've asked me if I'll go out in 6 weeks' time." And she said, "Well, you're not going alone. We better get packed up." And I just thought, "Whoa, okay." So she's like sharing the vision, if you see what I mean.
Mm, mm, mm.
We're a team. And all of that came about, although 20 odd years overseas and some of it success, some of it failure, but you take the rough with the smooth, as they say
mm,
in the law of attraction. You know, I saw the contrast, but it was all because of thought process,
mm,
and that's what I've been losing. That's what I've lost since she went. Like, it's 9 years ago now.
mm.
But I've been lost for 9 years because I haven't had the forethought.
Yeah.
I've lost what was the essence of me back in the day,
Mm,
you know. And now I'm seeing, like, I enjoy my photography. Oh, I love writing. I love doing this. I love doing that. And I'm just seeing it again now. I'm 64 this week, for Christ's sake.
mm.
64, man. And it's taken me that long to learn it. And what's bubbling up in me now is just, I'm looking around. I said, but you, like my son, you're 33, son, 34. Okay. And what's happened to him? He lost his job,
Mm,
and similar age to me, because when I lost my job, I was like 32, 33. And he lost his job. He's fighting back. Now he's doing call handling for the emergency services down in East Sussex, the south of
mm,
London. And he loves it. He
mm.
absolutely loves it. And I saw it and I just thought, yeah, I can see him starting talking about the future now. And he's talking about a career rather than just a job he does to pay the bills.
Exactly.
But that's it. So, long story short, very long story short, I do apologise, but very long story short, once again, I'm starting to think ahead.
Mm,
And there's one word that really sort of, it's hope.
yeah.
Everybody wants to feel worthwhile, okay?
Mm,
But when you look at that, what does worthwhile mean? Is everything is subjective.
mm.
Worthwhile is subjective through those filters. The only thing that's not subjective is hope.
Yeah.
It's objective because we all experience hope or lack of hope.
That's it. I mean, people reach a certain age and they kind of give up, and then it's like,
Yeah, you're right. And I think I did to a large
yeah,
degree. I gave up on it. I just thought, well, that's it. It's all over
yeah,
now.
why bother, or like when you don't have the young child or somebody at home dependent on you, you say, yeah, fuck it, it's like,
Yeah,
why bother,
job's done. Job's
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Over
Well,
and
I think
out.
but I mean, you said it in a nutshell when you can be enthusiastic or be hopeful or look at things in a new light and a new way. And it's like, yeah, this is, new beginnings now. What can I do? And to be open to new possibilities. I
Yeah,
think as long as we can stay in that groove and like you said, hopeful, like, yeah,
yeah.
something, I can
And
create something.
I also know I've not got to work too hard at it because the moment you
Mm,
start to push it,
yeah,
it will stop going in its own direction.
yeah.
So to to some degree, I've got to allow myself or force myself to remain passive to it.
Mm,
If it's going to happen, it will happen.
yeah.
All I
Well,
can do is control what I can control.
exactly. Well, like you said there a while ago when you were reflecting back and you said it's this is happening easy and you were creating it happening easy, like
Yeah,
if we can get back into that thing, okay, well now can I get back into that groove where I can, yeah, it's easy, life is easy, and everything's good is coming my way, and it's just sort of change that outlook a little bit.
you know what I'm wondering. I'm going through this thing at the moment, all about YouTube and stuff like that, and YouTube
Mm,
channels. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I don't know what to do on YouTube. You know, what I'd like to do is what we're doing here,
yeah.
and just literally just chewing the fat and talking about things and not giving people advice, but
Mm,
just saying how we feel about it. I think some of it will stick with certain people and some of it won't. But at the end
Absolutely.
of the day, I think it's this approach is very much how I want to do it. And
Mm,
to be quite honest with you, this call we're doing these days, most weeks, when I bloody sort my life out, but this call we're doing is it is like therapy to me,
mm,
and I think it can help other people as well.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people out there crying out for somebody mentioned something there the other day and it was like, wow, they were traveled back to the city and they had flown in during the day in the bus. It was into Dublin actually. And normally before the bus went on the outskirts, but this time it went through. And he was saying the amount of people that were young people on drugs, that were wasted, that were homeless, that were fucked up. And it's like, wow, what's happened with the youth where they've no hope, dreams, aspirations?
Exactly.
Uh,
The growing up in the 70s, to a large degree for me, was simplicity itself.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, my mum and dad didn't have a pot to piss in, but they made the bills. They were making the
yeah,
bills. The bills were manageable and they had hope. I mean, dad had a job.
yeah.
Okay. And so I came up through that. That was easy for me because I had hope. You know, if I didn't join the company I joined was a company called originally it was Hoffman's, but it was RHB Bearings. Okay.
Mm,
And it was if I didn't join RHB Bearings, I would have gone to the other two industries in town were Marconi's, the communications and the engineering, and or English Electric Valve, okay, which then turned into an electronics company. So I had those opportunities. They were
mm,
there. The hope was there. If I don't do this, then I'll do that. At no point did I think, oh well, I'll end up stuck in shelves and Tesco's. Far from it. As far as I was concerned, that was a choice that I wouldn't make
mm,
because I would find opportunities. And now the kids have gone through, well, not even now, it's the last, I don't know, really, the last decade has been worse than I've ever seen it before, which is the lack of hope. Not a lack of support, but a lack of hope. Because the support has been, uh, like, I'm living now on benefits. Okay.
mm.
So I respect that as support. However, when you're young, you need different form of support. You need
Yeah,
encouragement. You need
exactly.
opportunities. You don't need to say, well, it's okay. If I don't get up this morning, at least I know I can eat.
Mm,
Okay. That's not the support you need when you're young. You need to be far thinking. You need to
exactly.
support, look, make opportunities. There's
Yeah,
opportunities out there. Think about it.
that's it. I mean, there's
And
greater opportunities now than there ever was. But you gotta be clued in and you gotta be
yeah, and I think
looking for
the
something.
digital age is not only a wonderful thing, but it's also
Mm,
a damning indictment towards our lives because in the same sentence or the same situation, it can be a provider of ways of
yeah,
making a living, but it can also be a taker of your attention
yeah,
and a dumbing down of your
for
life.
sure. Yeah.
So it's like I say, it's good and bad all rolled into one.
Mm,
So yeah, I'd see that the loss of hope has been a huge
mm.
thing, and it's only getting worse. It's getting stronger. Loss.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like the one thing that I'm noticing too that people aren't tuning into a higher purpose. They're only thinking about me. They're not thinking about their connection with spirit, with the divine, and bringing that
Yeah,
into play.
the loss of faith in
Yeah,
something more than money.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
And
as
something
as
more than what's in here, that we're more than what we
yeah, we
see.
like I said before, I saw it in the 80s. You know, when the when I was leaving school in the sort of the in the 70s, when I was leaving school, mid 70s, uh, I I went into engineering, but even then, less and less guys. We were the last year of apprentices.
Mhm.
in all of the companies in town. So investment in apprenticeships wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Uh, but what was happening was half the guys around me just said, "Oh, I'm going down to work in a city. You get to work on a computer and you can make thousands. You know, I've got a Porsche now, and
Hmm.
2 years
Yeah,
later,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
got a Porsche now and a huge flat down on Reho Wharf in the East End of London." Da, 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 da. And so that was when the prayers to the great god of money or the great
Mm,
corporate gods became the thing, and I saw it then, and I hated it then.
mm,
I didn't know why. I thought I was strange because I could have made a potload of money, I'm sure, but I wasn't willing to do it because I found it. How can I put it? I thought of it as soulless.
yeah,
I thought of it as hollow.
yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I just saw it as like a sort of the god of money. Money for money's sake.
Yeah. It's like some of these cruise ships that you see, that they're all glass and smoke and mirrors, but there's no substance there.
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
about, and it's gone.
Check the Italian one that ran into an island. It's all right. We're a big cruise ship, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not so pretty underwater, is it?
Oh, the Italians seem to be good at that, Yeah. There's the captain on the island waving goodbye to the sinking
Oh
ship.
yeah. No, no.
Oh, lordy,
Oh
lordy, lordy.
dear. But
But
yeah, it is that sort of that lack of hope, the lack of the
mm,
soullessness
yeah,
of the world, not the world, but of attitudes.
yeah.
A lot of attitudes in the world, and that's actively encouraged. And I see it more and more now in this sort of this woke land, and sort of, I must be
Mm,
inclusive and stuff like that. The first thing I see is that instead of praying to or reacting to a meaning, they create false meaning
mm,
by praying to the God of not being racist or not being this or not being that. It's all negative instead of positive faith. It's a negative faith,
yeah.
and
I
I see it happening, and it's horrible because I
mm.
see it. Like, there's absolutely no need for it, other than
No,
the
I mean,
fact that somebody thought of it and they're making pot loads of money out of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there was such a thing as common sense before. Now there's no sense.
Oh God, yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, how can we change it? I don't know. I don't know because you can't control humans. The only thing you can do really is try and nurture
Yeah.
humans, and that is hence I say about maybe we should do this as like a sort of if I'm going to put up a YouTube channel, perhaps we can we can do something together where
Yeah,
we can just shoot shoot the shit like this and put
for
it out
sure.
on the channel and just see if it
Yeah.
sticks. Do you do that already? Do you put them out?
Well, no, well, I haven't been, but that was the idea that I had initially. And then Susie died, and then other things happened, and
Yeah, life
you
gets
know,
ahead of you, doesn't
yeah,
it?
exactly. But it's the one question I suppose that I have been coming up for me, like over the last couple of months, is like, what am I about? What do I want to do, and how can I make an impact? And that's the thing, and it's easy to go inside and to get all, oh, I've got nothing to do, or feel sorry for yourself and go, start to
Yeah,
spiral downwards rather than saying, okay, a simple little thing is handing over. Lord, give me an idea. Help me to, show me signs. Once you start connecting again
yeah,
back with nature,
and
with divine,
that's where you start thinking positively, and also you're
yeah,
acting passively, if you like.
yeah. But you're getting out of yourself and you're linking up with something greater than ourselves,
Yes,
something that's all knowing, that's getting back
depersonalize
into
it.
the,
Take
yeah,
take take it out of yourself and
yeah,
just put it out. Be human, basically.
Yeah.
Get back to humanity.
And as human beings, we're creators, and we need to get back into that flow. You can't have somebody telling you, "Oh, you can't think like that. Oh, you can't use that word. You can't say this, and you can't say this." Fuck that, then.
It's like,
That's that's numbing people's creativity. That's shutting people down. Where we need to be opening people up and say, "Okay, well, what is going on around in there, and how can you sort of bring that forward?" And like you said, getting it out there.
how do you
And
feel? How do you feel? Do you feel a lack of hope? Okay, you're not alone.
yeah,
We feel a lack of hope as well. And basically, talking about it is one of the
yeah,
ways to increase hope because you've got to be. I hate the word. It's overused these days. But you've got to be mindful.
mm,
Mindfulness. Mindfulness. It's just a buzzword for people. They don't even know what it means. You've got to
no,
you've got to be aware of
exactly. Be
the
conscious.
fact that it's happening to you.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I've got a lack of hope. Oh crap! How do I get? When did I used to have hope? How did I think then? And that's all it is. It's just
yeah.
cherry picking those
But you're going,
items
yeah,
out of your past and think, well, when it was working then, it'll
it
work
can
now.
work again. Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
just, and it's just that. It's a great realization for me. It's a huge, great big light bulb went off in my head. I thought, I haven't got hope. I've lost hope.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do next, so therefore I can't visualize what I want.
yeah. And I suppose like that too, society is encouraging people not to be. I mean, in this country, you don't get any trained. Like if you're unemployed, you don't get any help or training or things until you've been unemployed for 6 months or more. So I mean, so if you find yourself, you're not encouraged to think about solutions. You're encouraged to not do anything, to stay in bed and be stupid.
Yeah,
And then after 6 months of being stupid, then they'll train you to be something. Or it's crazy. It's
and the crazy thing is, what I think one of the things that been going through my mind recently, and that is that I started looking around at jobs because I thought, well,
mm,
okay, if I need a reason to be, then I need to work out what I want to do because I was always defined. I always defined myself by what I did as a job.
yeah,
I now know that to be like a false god, if you like,
exactly,
or a false prophet, if you like. But that's the way, that's the way people have been encouraged to think.
exactly,
What are
yeah,
you? Who are you? Oh, I'm an engineer. No,
mm,
you're not. Who are you? Not
mm,
what do you do? Who are you? But I was thinking about that. I was looking around at jobs, and I thought, well, the first way they could change it all around in maybe 5 years in this country, okay, is they could make the job centres again.
yeah,
You go in there not only to sign on, but you go around all the local companies and all the local businesses and all the local self-employed people are approached and say, well, okay, if you take on people that if you post on our boards and you take on people and get them off of the old dole queue as we used to know
mm,
it back in the day, then you get a benefit from the government, okay?
mm,
And have job boards, not just go online and see what's there. No, it's got to be human. Go somewhere, come down here and look at the job boards, or you don't get your benefits. Okay, it gets people out, it gets
yeah,
people there, it gets people discussing things. It actually makes them look. Go there and look
yeah.
rather than sit and say, oh yeah, how many jobs have you applied for today? Oh, 26.
But that's the thing too. Like I said, though, is to get people to be curious as to be what they might be good at,
Yeah,
and then if there's somebody there to guide them, by there probably are questionnaires and stuff like that out there that you can fill out. That
I
well,
can
you'd be good
remember
at
my,
this or
my
that.
days at school, but not the latter days at school, but during, I think, probably the first, up until the age of about 14, we had careers advice at school.
Mm,
Now, bearing in mind that they used to call me stupid, they used to say, yeah, go dig holes in the road and stuff like that.
mm,
But, uh, but careers advice used to be a thing.
mm.
And now careers advice is basically, can you operate a computer? Yeah, well, just answer the phone so you get minimum wage. And you just, when they give you their names, you can clickety, clickety, click, put it in there. And we'll call you a data entry clerk. But that just doesn't work. It's not a sustainable model, is it? What we need to do is we need to get people together in a place that's known for the job boards. Like, I can remember the job centre being great. I used to look forward to going down there, not just sign on. That bit was always like mental. Sign on a dotted line. Have you looked for work recently? And but I used to like looking at the job boards because I used to think, oh, that looks good. No
Mm.
experience necessary. Okay. Training provided. Oh, okay. One of them, I didn't go for it because I wasn't interested, but one of my mates went for it. Uh, and that was the fact it was a local plumber wanted to train somebody up to take over part of his business so he could basically, because he was a local self-employed plumber,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah,
he wanted to employ somebody alongside him so he could scale up
yeah,
and
yeah,
get
yeah.
train the
Brilliant.
person to do things like basic plumbing work. Then he would
Mm-hmm.
come in to satisfy all the plumbing, technicalities, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
And training provided. I thought, well, I'm not interested in plumbing, but I always fancied a bit of plumbing. He applied for it.
Mm.
And we were standing there, we were all talking about these things. Oh, was there anything on the board today? I can't.
Mm.
Oh, there's one over here. And guess what happened to me? I was straight out of school and I was down there and I thought, right, I'll go and have a look on the job board. What did I find? I applied for an engineering apprenticeship at
Mm.
RHP. So I did. The rest is history.
That's it. Racist history. Yeah.
So, so, and I think when you look at that as well, it's also putting the humanity or the human touch back into it. Because I went on to one of the job boards like indeed.com, let's have a look at the jobs on indeed.com. And you put in your search parameters, and it just spews out all this junk. And you go through like, so, oh, give us your email address and your telephone number and all the rest of it, and you'll get endless adverts for something completely unrelated because we sell this list on to advertisers. Um, I looked through it, I just thought, and it's going on about what you must be, what you know, you know, you must have 10 years experience in this and that and that and that and that and that and that, and that, and that. I get to the bottom and I go, well, what does the company do? What are you looking for in people to join your company?
Mm.
Not what do, what do you have to have in terms of qualifications? And I realized that they're not actually advertising the job. They've already got people in mind, but they have to advertise it because they can't just go and find somebody for it
No.
or promote somebody. Uh, and so it's faceless to me.
Yeah. Or they need quotas.
Oh
That's the
God,
big
yeah,
thing.
sort of. You know, if they're going to do it, just be honest about it.
Mm.
Okay, we've got enough blokes working here. We've got to have a woman.
Mm.
That's not sexist. They're just fulfilling what the government has piled down on them.
It's gas too, though. I was looking at something. I was just going through Facebook earlier on today, and some young guy had put a notice up saying that he's available to do painting and X, Y, and Z. And he said, and he wants you to contact him. He wants you to write to him to offer him something. And like in my way of thinking, he should be writing to people. He should be actively looking for people instead of putting up saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
hello, I'm here. You write to me to give me something," rather than going and say, "Well, I'm the one offering, and you're going out there looking for it."
yeah. It's it's
It's
it's, it's like expecting the buyer to come and buy rather than you to go
exactly
and sell it.
fucked up thinking. Yeah.
And I must admit, it's to a degree. I, I I see it exactly as you see it, mate. That's it, exactly as you said.
Mm,
But I'm thinking of it now, and I'm thinking, well, hold on a second. This is what the digital world has done to people. They're
yeah,
being fed everything on a plate,
yeah,
and so they said, well, okay, I want a job. Okay, I'll look online, and
yeah,
what will the
exactly.
internet offer me?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
everything
not
comes
going
to
out
them.
there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like you said, you hit it nail on the head. Was by it took out the personal bit. So they're putting something online rather than looking for companies. They're looking for individuals to go and see face to face and talk and say, "Hi, I'm such and such. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm offering my service." So now this thing, they're expecting the computer to throw back stuff at them, saying, "Oh yeah, you can do this, do that, or the other." There's nothing
The amazing thing
personal
is,
there anymore.
there's a jobs fair just up the road from, well, just up the road, probably a few miles away, but a place called Colchester. And there's a jobs fair there on Wednesday. Okay. And I thought, oh, jobs fair.
Mm,
Who's there? There's all these different engineering companies, a couple of ones I recognised. And there's like data companies and data storage companies, all sorts of stuff going on. And then they said it's only £5 to get in. Okay. Somebody's obviously somebody's obviously created a job for themselves, making money, uh, getting people into jobs fairs. Uh, uh, Only £5 to get in. Okay. And
bring your own sandwich.
students and students can come in between this time and that time, and this and that, and it was all about young people. This young people that would be training
Yeah,
opportunities for young people and entry level work and get kickstart your career and And I thought, well, what about anybody over 40?
mhm,
You're not fucking interested, are you,
yeah,
mate? Sorry, I'm pretty good. Sorry, but
yeah. You're all right.
you're just not interested, are you? If I'm over 40, okay, and I'm not your boss, you're not interested in me.
No, you're goose.
And it's it. It's just seen as like youth is everything. Now I know in back in our day, I was exactly the same. Well, not
Mm,
exactly the same, but I was the same to a degree when I thought, well, okay, that old geezer over there, how the hell is he still employed? I can do 3 times as much as him in a day.
mm,
Okay. But what I didn't realise was that what people were paying for is his knowledge, not his ability to climb up on stuff
yeah.
and hit it with a hammer, you know? And so, but now it's even more so because you're taking out the element of physical ability,
Mm,
but you put it in the element of digital ability. Now, my grandson, who's 6, okay, he shows me how to work my phone sometimes. I said, I can't get the screen. Oh, just press that there. But that now apparently is skill. Uh, and once again, they've taken the humanity out of you. Not in a workplace.
mm,
It's not down to what you can provide and the knowledge. It's just down to knowing which button to press.
yeah.
And I've seen it more and more and more, even to the extreme of when my realization when back in the marketplace back home, having been well, multi-million-dollar companies, um, I got back here and they said, oh, you can deliver pizzas if you like, or you can deliver parcels.
Mm,
Oh, by the way, you've got to do this quicker, you've got to do that quicker. You're not being quick enough. And I just said, well, oh,
yeah.
just with all due respect, I think I've earned the right and the knowledge to be worth more than this.
Mm,
I could at least, garner a little bit of respect, hopefully, for the fact that I've got through life and all my limbs are still intact and I'm still thinking, I'm still seeing. Okay. So
yeah.
please, but it's not. It's like that shut off point is getting younger and younger and younger. And I
Mm,
don't think it's necessarily the employers, the employers, if you like, but it's the people they've employed who are there because they're indoctrinated into the system, and it's all about paper qualifications and how can you prove that you're good. The only way I can prove that I'm good and that I'll do you right is the fact that you've got to employ me, take a
Exactly.
chance on me,
Yeah.
and I'll prove to you whether I'm good or bad, and the results will speak for themselves.
Mm. But I suppose a lot of these companies too, they're looking for young people to come in so that they can program them themselves, program into their way of thinking,
Yeah, fit the mold.
and not have you, yeah, and not have you thinking for yourself. You know, you got to be thinking this way.
One
This
of,
is the company line.
one of the positives I had, and I tried this out and it failed miserably, but one of the positives I had in my mind was, okay, I'm going to go and see this guy. And I went for this interview. This is going back a few years now. I went for this interview, and uh, I went through the interview and everything else. He says, anything else you'd like to ask or any other comments you have? I said, well, to be quite honest with you, I said, the benefits of taking on somebody my age is the fact that I I haven't got raw ambition. I've got ambition for the company and for the increase in turnover and profitability, but I don't need to get a bigger title or a nicer car. I'm all about the job. And so I haven't got the raw ambition. And they saw that as a negative.
Mm.
Well, how can we drive you forward then? Well, yeah, exactly. You drive me forward. If I've earned it, I'll get it. Yeah. That's not how they work. You don't
Mm.
earn promotion. You beg, borrow, steal, cajole,
Yeah,
uh, play tricks, play mind games, play corporate politics and stuff like that. That's the
yeah.
problem.
Scratch the right fella.
The politics of it have more meaning than the results of it.
Yeah, gas. Ken, it's a brand new world out there, and sure, we're just sailing on through.
Let's bang it to rights, mate. Let's bang it to
Yeah,
rights.
yeah,
I'm gonna come up with this YouTube channel anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a YouTube channel, but it's going to be have various parts of it. You know,
mm,
the various things I like, and I'll just be doing stuff on all of them, all through the same channel. But what I think we could do is, if we have chats like this, you're recording them anyway. If we
yeah,
have chats, we could obviously edit them because it's too long for most people's concern. You know, they've got the 20-second goldfish mentality these days. Um, but what we could do is we could maybe take one of those and edit it, and both release it as our own,
yeah,
and just see how it goes. You know, just put a couple out there, just us chewing the fat like we do,
yeah. That's it. Absolutely.
and pop it out there and see what happens. You know, because
Yeah,
if it works, if it does work, which I'm fairly sure it will work, given you know, given we've got the legs for it. As long as we don't expect like overnight success and stuff like that. But if it starts to work and it's making us feel good,
yeah,
then we can do more of it.
yeah. Absolutely. And it's important to be doing something that makes you feel good, put a smile on your face, and give
Oh
you that
gosh,
excuse
yeah.
to get you up in the morning.
It's that hope
It,
again, isn't it? You know, just
yeah,
smile, be merry, and
yeah, yeah.
smiling and be merry will come to you.
Exactly.
There's a great. I sent one to one of my friends the other day. I've got to read this to you by Spike Milligan. What a guy!
He
Guy
was
was
good. Yeah,
utterly
yeah.
brilliant. This guy, and I'll read you this poem he did. Gallery. Oh, what have you done with it, man? Oh, here it
That's
is.
the word.
Here it is.
Yeah.
It's Spike Milligan's poem. Okay, smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I walked around the corner and someone saw me grin. When he smiled, I realised I'd passed it on to him. I thought about the smile and then realised its worth. A single smile like mine could travel round the earth.
Mm,
So if you feel a smile begin, don't leave it undetected. Start an epidemic. and get the world infected.
Brilliant.
I've said that to you,
Yeah,
mate. I just,
yeah,
Spike Milligan's way of thinking was just, for me, just fantastically random and full of hope.
yeah. Absolutely,
But
yeah,
that's it. Smile and be happy,
yeah.
basically, and smile and be happy will come to you.
Exactly. And like you said, pass it on to somebody else. Make somebody else's day. With the smile.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
because I thought about this when I was thinking about this YouTube channel initially. I just thought, well, I could do. I love humour, but I could
Mm.
do my old rants because I used to do rants. It's like sort of things that things that I find strange. I'll tell you one of them now. Okay, just to put it in
Yeah.
context. Okay, I don't mind when they try and sell me like detergent. Okay, but why do they have to treat me like a paedophile? Because at the end of every advert, they say, "Stay away from children," or "Keep away from kids."
Oh, lordy, lordy,
So,
lord.
but it's. I was thinking, oh, I'll do something like that. But rants isn't it. Rants isn't the
Mm.
answer. Rants is just venting
Mm.
and trying to deflect it with
Yeah.
humour. But
And
I think
sometimes you
what we
need to
need
do
to do
that
is
too,
just
though.
talk about shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
and get it
Yeah. And
out
that's
there.
it. And being able to talk about it and not have somebody tell you, "Oh, you can't say that."
Oh God, yeah. You know,
You know.
I've been accused of being a racist probably 20 times in the last 3 or 4 months. Okay? And basically, what I said to them, they said, "Oh, you're racist." I was talking about the Indian guys I was working with,
Mm-mm.
and how their culture differentiates. I had to teach them if you have a problem in the workplace, put your hand up to it as early as possible, and we'll all help.
Mm.
But if you try and hide it because you don't want to lose face, it just gets bigger and worse.
Exactly. Yeah.
And somebody said, "That's very racist of you." I said, "Well, with all due respect, I said,
It's the truth of it.
this is my experience.
Mm.
What's your experience of it?"
Mm.
So,
This is it. And like I said, the whole thing about was about helping people to deal with stuff and to move on and to be thinking differently. It's because different cultures think differently, you know.
yeah, and
And
we were indoctrinated in a way that
mm,
some of those guys who used to help me, I used to say, "Oh God, I hate this. I put on so much weight because I've got desk bound. Obviously, I've got
mm,
to a certain point. I wasn't climbing over power stations anymore, and I was telling people to. So I started putting weight on. And I said to one of my engineers, Suresh, one of
mm,
my senior engineers, Suresh, a brilliant lad. I just said to him, I said, "Oh, I hate I've put all this weight on." He goes, "No, no, no." He goes, "In our culture," he said,
yeah,
we say you're prospering.
yeah,
You're obviously doing well in business because you can afford to feed that much food to you and your family."
yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that is just perceptions,
Mm.
isn't it? It's just,
This is it. That's exactly it. Okay, on that note, I'm going to have to stop, man. Lunch cooking.
yes, young
It
man.
was a joy as ever.